The Chris Gethard Show is, according to its website, the most bizarre and often saddest talk show in New York City. After starting off as a live show at the Upright Citizens Brigade Theater in New York, the show moved to cable access on June 22, 2011. It is a call-in and variety show hosted by Chris Gethard that originally aired every Wednesday night at 11:00 p.m. on MNN. It transitioned to the cable channel Fusion on May 28, 2015. The show can also be found distributed across the web. The public access television show is written and produced by Noah Foreman, Drew Johnston, J. D. Amato and Chris Gethard. It is directed by J. D. Amato. The show, known for its "no cool kids" atmosphere, has been called oddly uplifting, a cult hit, an often riveting experiment in seat-of-your-pants broadcasting, and has gained viewers from around the world. On January 5, 2016, Gethard announced that the show had been renewed for a second season by Fusion, now expanded to one-hour episodes, to air in the spring. Format. The format of the MNN show was extremely loose, but almost every episode features the panel interacting with callers. Episodes are usually based around a call-in topic, a game, or occasionally a plot. On public access, every episode ran 1 hour in length and broadcast live on Wednesday nights. On cable, Season 1 episodes were taped Tuesdays with a live-streamed interactive taping, with an edited half-hour version premiering on Thursdays. Season 2 episodes are taped Thursdays, with a live-streamed interactive taping, with an edited 1-hour version premiering on Wednesdays. Cast and crew. Main cast equals Chris Gethard equals. Chris Gethard is the show's host, namesake, and an executive producer, often openly discussing his neuroses, including anxiety and depression. Gethard has a habit of putting himself in painful and/or degrading situations. Shannon O'Neill equals. The artistic director of the Upright Citizens Brigade Theater. Shannon O'Neill is Gethard's sidekick, and often plays the role of straight man, contrasting with Gethard's less restrained, anxious behavior. The Human Fish equals. The Human Fish is a character performed by comedian David Bluvband. The Human Fish is a half-man, half-fish hybrid who emerged from the sea in order to learn about humans, almost always dressed in goggles, blue swimming trunks and flippers. The Human Fish always has something on his mind, often phrased in an X versus Y format. The character was briefly retired during the final episode of the first season on MNN, with Bluvband later joining the panel out of character. The Human Fish later returned for the final MNN episode, and remained a main cast member during the Fusion series. Bethany Hall equals. A performer at the UCB Theatre and the show's stage manager. Bethany Hall is known to all as the nicest, kindest and most rational member of the TCGS cast, often protesting the use of violence against Chris or other members of the show. Starting with the mole, Bethany serves as the show's internet liaison, participating with and speaking for the show's chat room. Murph Meyer equals. Murph Meyer is the show's announcer, otherwise known as the Reservoir Dog. Murph claims to have stolen a handle of whiskey from Giggle Castle, the headquarters of a secret society based in Chapel Hill, North Carolina, and is known for his rants about the Order and his attempts to divulge their secrets, which have become the subject of several specials. He proposed to his then-girlfriend Diana Kolsky at the end of the First Times episode. The Random equals. The Random is a rotating panelist who, prior to joining the show, must have had no previous interactions with the cast or crew, and remains on the panel for 15 weeks. This tradition began in the second MNN episode, The episode where everything started. When a woman named Jean called into the show confused as to what the show was even about. She was asked by Chris if she wanted to join the cast, to which she agreed and immediately became a part of the show, until she left for a job in California 15 weeks later, which began the 15-week cycle tradition. There have been 8 regular randoms in total. The only one to remain on the show past their 15 weeks is Alex Clute, known as Random Messenger Bag. During his time as Random, Clute was given an offer by the show's director, J.D. Amato, to restart his tenure if he abandoned a handcuffed Gethard, leaving him at the mercy of cast members who would attack him. Staying would result in Clute's departure from the show at the end of the episode. Clute took the offer. Upon the conclusion of his time as Random, Clute later joined the show's house band, the LLC. Mimi on the Hoops Mimi Fisher, a hooper who hoop dances behind the cast throughout the entire show. Celebrity guests. Throughout the show's run, several guests have appeared on the show and sat on the panel, including Will Ferrell, Amy Poehler, Zach Galifianakis, Sean Combs, Hannibal Buress, Jack McBrayer, Scott Adsit, Bobby Monahan, Blanche Baker, Matt Besser, Wyatt Cenac, Tommy Safer, Horatio Sands, Kurt Brownola, Aidy Bryant, Colt Cabana, Antonio Campos, Kay Cannon, Pat Castles, Jimmy McMillan, Adam Pally, Grizz Chapman, R. L. Stein, MYQ Kaplan, Jordan Klepper, Danny Tamborelli, Nicole Byer, Brady Corbett, Gabe Delahaye, Sean Durkon, Don Fanelli, Jake Fogelnest, John Hamm, Dave Hill, Will Hines, Jesse Lee, Zachary Levi, Joe Machi, Joe Monday, Mike Maronna, Josh Mond, John Mulaney, Griffin Newman, Mike O'Brien, Lennon Parham, D.C. Pearson, Jeff Rubin, Tom Sharpling, Rich Sommer, Cypher Sounds, Dino Stamatopoulos, Dan Street, German, John Gemberling, Brian Husky, James Adomian, Tito Santana, Sal Vulcano, Andrew W. K., Sean Waltman and Rhino. Crew. The Chris Gethard Show has an ever-expanding list of people working behind the scenes to make the show possible. Many have worked several jobs on the show. Much of the crew appears on the show, and can be considered just as much a part of the cast as the panelists. J.D. Amato, Executive Producer, Director. Noah Foreman, Executive Producer, Head Writer. Drew Johnston, Executive Producer, Head Writer. Emma Noble, Writer, Camera Operator. Keith Haskell, Audience Director and Banana Man. Andrew Hotjog Parrish, Audience Director. Random Orlando, Audience Director. Rob Malone, Audience Director and World's Greatest Dancer. Jersey, Dave Sirico, Floor Manager. Andrew Flynn Soltis, Assistant Director. Richard Speziale, Audio Mixer and MNN Production. Patrick Hotnoyer, Production Coordinator. Camera Operator. Jesse Vandenberg, Camera Operator. Rachel Pegram, Camera Operator. Michael Tannenbaum, Production Coordinator, Phone Screener. Jewel Frankfeldert, Photographer. Zane Van Dusen, Musical Guest Curator. Kiri Oliver, Musical Guest Curator. Heidi Vanderlee, Musical Guest Curator. William Siskind, Post-Production. Brian Miller, Social Media Director. Sean Newman, Post-Production. Danny Bahar, YouTube Clip Editor. Post-Production. Cliff Henning, Production Assistant, Logo Maker. Connor Ratloff, Camera Operator and Performer. Rob Spencer, Robo Camera Operator. Regular callers. Alicia later became a crew member and even appeared on multiple episodes. A frequent target of harassment by Shannon O'Neill, the guy who pretends to be Jack Klugman. Walter, the first and only fan of the show. Joe from Queens, who was banned from the show, but returned on episode 56. Shelby in Kentucky. Karlstedt, originator of the phrase, keepen it cool steady. Stellan from Sweden, appeared in multiple episodes. Luke from Chicago, gets hung up on by Chris a lot. Todd from Pittsburgh, a 20-something that calls in from Pittsburgh. Always encouraging, sometimes drunk. Royce and Chris from San Francisco. Andres N. Dr. S. from Massachusetts. Andre from Boston, a frequent caller who tends to tell depressing stories and annoy Chris with his constant enthusiasm towards the Rat's Nest name. Fred from Honolulu. Celeste, a teen journalist who interviewed the panel about teens. Suto, a strange entity from Florida who frequently gargles into the phone. Fans and other guests. Nick Feitel, the man behind the plant. Riley Solona, creator of the Temple of the Milk Spirit, also portrays Vacation Jason. TJ, companion and handler of random Frodo seen during seasons 2 and 3, portrayed by Taylor Antecita. Sephir Castanet, gets a minute on every show starting season 2. John Henry, audience member who dresses in different costumes. Smith, rival MNN producer who hates TCGS and later transforms into a lizard person, portrayed by comedian Brett Davis. Phil Jackson, reads poetry he writes, then leaves the studio. Dan Klein, can do whatever he wants. Always reviews fruit. Omar Janakat, longtime fan, audience member. Jamie Casban, fan. Does arts and crafts starting season 2. Random Dan. Random George. The Rat's Nest, Chat Rats, Rats Carlton, Ratzels, Gearheads, Asian Rats, members of the show's chat room, whose interactions are conveyed throughout the show by Bethany Hall, acting as the show's internet liaison. The name the members of the chatroom has preferred has gone through multiple incarnations, with Chris currently preferring the Rat's Nest and objecting any changes. Characters. Frequent characters. Austin Powers. An FBI. Fat bastard investigators. Agent investigating the death of the guy who likes cream but not too much cream's personal barista. He has no relation to Austin Powers. Before revealing himself, he appeared on the show undercover as Austin Power Tools. Bob Austin Powers, Uno Maston Powers, and Stone Cold Steve Austin Powers. Banana Man, an enthusiastic man in a banana costume. It's unclear if he's a character, or just Keith Haskell in a banana suit. The Beast Masturbator, a super religious man who jerks off beasts and spooky monsters. The Beast Masturbator aspect of his character was later toned down, and he became known for his intense belief in God, as evidenced by his catchphrase, God is real. Quote, Chug Clamato and the King of Hats. Chug Clamato is a man in a bathrobe who wears 10 hats and chugs Clamato juice. The King of Hats is a man who wears a hat and sunglasses. Hats are sort of his thing. Chug Clamato was first mentioned during the 12-hour election special when Vacation Jason chugged a bottle of Clamato juice. The King of Hats was first mentioned in the episode Glory Hole Kissing Booth. Chug Clamato met his end after chugging a bottle of poison Clamato. A couple who are so in love right now but will definitely break up in exactly 6 months. Broke up in The Cream Wedding. 6 months after their introduction. 40-year-old Goosey, a Time Lord in a parrot costume and who can slow down time by walking in front of the camera. Named by a child who called into the show. The guy who likes cream but not too much cream. Winner of the crowdsourced character contest, in which viewers sent in character names. Actors played the characters, and fans voted on their favorites. Paired with his personal barista. A barista who gives him his cream. The two eventually married, but his personal barista was shot by a sniper. The Hintmaster. a googly-eyed, mustachioed creature obsessed with hints and novelty props, appeared out of necessity during a failed word game in The Birth of the Hint Master, later took over the show and was killed in The Hint Master Show. Holograms of the Hint Master still exist. Horse and Bee. A horse and a bee who make horse and bee puns. Horse was euthanized in Saddle Bean 80 Hive. Quote, the nunchucks. Two nuns named Chuck, armed with nunchucks and responsible for the death of his personal barista. Vacation Jason. The world's #1 vacation expert and friendly enemy to Chris Gethard, had his own one-man show, Vacation Jason's Island Flavors, as well as his own mixtape, Coconut Berry Lemon Tree. Has alter egos including Jason Reinlib and the Master of Terror. Vampire. Abraham Lincoln Hunter. A vampire who claims to hunt and kill Abraham Lincolns, but is clearly a repressed gay man committing homophobic hate crimes. Writer who was fired from The New Yorker for being too pretentious. Occasional characters. Audience member with a sleeping baby. The father of her baby is Saturday Night Live cast member Bobby Monahan. Big Hat who loves Monopoly. Cockstein Tear Duct. A princess with a very unfortunate name. Drunk daddy who brings home snow cones. 8 years ago Teresa. A woman named Teresa who had a lot of stuff happen to her 8 years ago. Gethy. The show's mascot. The ghost of Macho Man Randy Savage. The ghost of a dead adult film star named Randy Savage. The ghost of the Ultimate Warrior. Hero Cockwain. MNN President. Lil Woody Allen. A rapper with mannerisms similar to those of Woody Allen. Man Ham. Meow Gic Matt. The Magician for Cats. Mopey janitor with bad timing and a broken mop. Retired kitten. Ronk. A man in S&M attire. Triceratops who's not very good at a Boston accent. Vinegar Al. A man obsessed with vinegar and porn stars, among other things. Watermelon policeman. Weenie Feet Bobbins. An optimistic English orphan with hot dogs for feet. Zero Fucks Boyd. A man named Boyd who gives zero fucks. Winner of the crowdsourced character contest 2. He is 8 years ago Teresa's boyfriend. The LLC. The LLC is the house band of the Chris Gethard Show. The LLC are Hallie Bullite, lead vocals, kazoo, percussion, Bill Florio, glockenspiel, vocals, John Vafiades, guitar, Alex Clute, messenger bag, guitar, and Mikey Ergon Cajon, percussion and vocals. They create original music for every episode of the show and have created themes for many of the recurring sketches. They have also occasionally featured other players, like Mal Bloom and Random Melissa. They write a new song for virtually every episode. Some of their recurring songs are the main theme, Persephone Please, credits, the awkward song, Jerk Face, quote, Why don't you give us a call? Quote, So glad you gave us a call. Quote, #Hollywood Gethard. Technical difficulties, along with themes for Alyssa, Walter, The Human Fish, Dan Klein, The Wiffle Bat Gang, Bethany, Stellin, Qualstead, Don Fanelli, Shannon, The Rats Carlton, Rob Malone, Bananaman, Mimi, Connor Ratliff, Jersey Dave, Fred from Honolulu and Tracksuit Enforcer. Episodes transition to cable. On November 20, 2013, it was announced that Comedy Central had ordered a pilot of the show. But on May 13, 2014, Gethard announced through Tumblr that Comedy Central had passed on the show. He also added that the show would not end, and that they were already talking to other networks. On December 17, 2014, Gethard announced the show would be moving to an unspecified cable network in 2015 and would be finishing its run on public access in January. On January 28, during their final broadcast on MNN, Gethard revealed that they will begin airing episodes on Fusion. The Chris Gethard Show was succeeded in its time slot on MNN by The Special without Brett Davis. During the special's first episode, which aired on February 22, 2015, Gethard appeared to hand off hosting duties to Davis. The show has briefly returned once each November to continue Sandwich Night. On January 5, 2016, it was announced that Fusion had renewed the show for a second season. 10 episodes have been ordered, with the major change being the show's length going from a half-hour to a 1-hour program. Official website. Official Fusion website. The Chris Gethard Show on YouTube.